Hi and welcome to Tenniszon channel. Today we're explaining how to alter a racket using weight tape. Stick with us.
Please take your seats quickly, ladies and gentlemen.
When we pick a racket, it's usually because we studied it very well. It's usually very good for us. But sometimes there could be modifications to do. Sometimes at the beginning, sometimes after a while. You can make the alterations at the beginning in order to adjust the racket perfectly to what you're doing, or do it after a while in order to make the racket evaluate with your style of play. But how do we do that? I'm going to show you right away. We use lead or tungsten tape in order to adjust the weight of a racket, because all the magic happens in the weight. Allow me to explain. As I explained it in a previous video, the more the weight of the racket will shift from the handle to the head, the more you'll have power and the more you'll lose control. Do you have a hammer? If yes, put a pause on video and go pick it up. If not, no big deal, I'll show it to you. If we take a hammer normally and we move it like this, we're going to notice that the movement is very tough, because 90% of the weight of that hammer is in the head. A tougher movement like that will mean that maneuverability is at its lowest, but power is also at its maximum. Now if you have your hammer in hand, swing it around like this and move it in the same way. You're going to notice that the movement now is very easy. That is because now 90% of the weight is in the handle. Maneuverability is at its maximum, but power is at its minimum. Try to hit a nail with that, you'll find out. It's exaggerated, but it explains perfectly how the weight distribution in the racket works. Also, we already explained that the heavier the racket will be, the more control it will have. But why? The heavier a racket will be, the harder it will be to move, which will give it less power. But the weight of the racket will absorb the weight of the ball, which will stabilize the racket. And that's what will help the control on its ball. The lighter it is though, the faster you will move it, which will raise the power. But the weight of the racket won't absorb the weight of the ball as much, which will make it less stable. And that's one of the things that makes a racket less control. So if we come back to a weight tape, first we try to find out how much weight you want to add to your racket. You can try a few combinations, but it's usually between 6 and 20 grams. After that, we want to find out how do we want to alter that racket. At the end of the handle for the maximum control, or gradually to the end of the head for a maximum power. And don't forget that balance, more control, less power. Very important, the tape must be applied equally on each side of the racket. 4 pieces will be installed at the handle, 2 pieces will be installed in the throat, and 4 pieces will be installed anywhere on the head. And that's how it's done. It's as simple as that. But if it makes your life difficult, don't be worried. Give us a call, communicate with us, we'll make it easy for you. So that's it guys, it was all for the video this week. I hope you learned something today. If not, I'll try again next week.